So hey, what's up everyone? You're currently tuned into the TBD live stream here or on the radio on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com out of Tijuana. We have Colin Blanton from the project Brin from their home in Los Angeles. How you doing, Colin?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Dude, just hanging. So, what have you been up to during the quarantine? How have you adapted? How do you like virtual gigs? The world's been pretty chaotic the past couple months, especially for those living in the US.
Um, well, I guess, like pretty weird time to be alive, as everyone knows. And I guess the ways I've been like coping with it, like in an artistic sense, I guess it's been like a pretty highly productive time, I would say. Like, um, outside of like working and stuff, like if I wasn't going to shows like in old world, if I wasn't going to shows or like at work or something, then I was like working on music anyways. And
hmm
so it kind of just put me in this mode of just like high output. It's like I was furloughed for 2.5 months,
hmm
so I just had a lot of time to like absorb sounds around me, like other people's music. Like I got a few new like pieces of gear. Like my roommate introduced me to like the Norns Shield, which is like a DIY version of the mono Norns. So
hmm
he helped me build a couple of those, and just spent a lot of time um, just trying to learn those and like really diving into the different patches and things that sort of like resonated with me the most.
hmm
And kind of like with virtual shows too, sort of just like slid right in.
hmm
Like I think in like the first week of uh, lockdown, I started just kind of doing little DJ sets, and just like messing with like found sounds and other little things that I was kind of just like playing with at the time, just as kind of like an outlet to sort of like perform. Um, and then me and like my roommate and like a few other people in LA, um, we figured out how to jam live through Discord and Zoom, so we could have like a visual and like sound aspect to it.
Oh
And
wow, is that the Leaving Records like all genre Discord or something? I don't know.
oh no, that's like a different thing. We just set up like a little channel that was like just the like five of us.
That's sick. That's sick.
And yeah, I kept it private. We did a few gigs through Lumpen Radio out of Chicago, because I used to live in Chicago, and then Jeremiah Chu, who was like involved sort of in our online experiments, he used to live in Chicago as well, and that's where we originally met. But he runs deep with the Lumpen people, so we did a few performances with them, and then they kind of gave us license to start like curating shows as well. So we were doing like monthly curated shows, sometimes a little bit more frequently than that, since there were like five of us kind of like doing stuff. But that was like a cool learning experience, because it really like, some of that stuff takes a lot of like troubleshooting, especially with like signal flow and like figuring those things out. And just, I feel like I really learned a lot about that stuff. And like my roommate and I have like helped like an art gallery do a live stream, because it's like a lot of people don't know how to do it. And it's like,
that's true. Yeah.
It's like, well, we've been doing it for like 11 months at this point, so we're like professionals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, just kind of like coping in those ways. And then like outside of music, just like really taking a lot of time to like sit with like tough feelings and like, isolation, loneliness, anything like that. Like I did, back when I lived in Chicago, I did this Vipassana meditation retreat that's like, it's like a 10-day long silent meditation retreat. So there's all these people around you and stuff, but like you can't talk or anything like that. So it simulates like the experience of isolation, and you meditate 10 hours a day starting at 4 a.m. And
that sounds insane.
It was crazy. It was a really great experience. It's really cool, because it's non-denominational, and it's free, and there are places all over the world. And I met these people who were like traveling across the country, but they were stopping in every little destination they could to do like a 10-day Vipassana retreat. And you get fed. They give you a place to stay. There's like a suggested donation, but there's no pressure to donate if you don't have the means. And it was just an interesting experience, because you just have to, like, when you're meditating that intensely, like so many things come up, and many things that you have like buried or long forgotten about, like all kinds of stuff. And so I feel like this experience of like being in lockdown is kind of just like an extension of that. In this kind of way, at least, like that's how I sort of like handle it in my mind. So yeah, just I don't know, stuff like that, trying to like stay in touch with people as much as possible. Been doing like a lot of like online co-op gaming with some homies, and like just playing Bloodborne, some cathartic monster slashing,
Yeah, hell yeah.
I watched your interview with Chuck, and it's funny, like Chuck and I live like less than like 5 miles from each other.
Oh, really?
We didn't see each other for 10 months. And
wow.
It's like LA has just been like so intense. It's just like seeing people, just like, it's tough.
It for sure is. Yeah, it for sure is. But I'm glad to see that, you were a little prepared. You kind of prepped while you're in Chicago.
I guess unknowingly
prepped.
And crying a lot is a good
coping mechanism as well.
Yeah.
And
wait, what's that?
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, just lean into it, you know.
Yeah, right.
Might as well.
Yeah, I'm glad to see like as well that, for the most part you're productive throughout this. I feel like not that many people can you know, say that they were. So that's sick.
Yeah, yeah. And like I also think like for me personally, I think I have discovered that like putting a lot of energy into like collaborative work
Mm,
through this stuff has has helped me a lot.
yeah,
I've been working on doing some collaborative records with a few people during this time, and that has like really helped. So
that's sick.
that's been another way to kind of like get that energy sort of spread and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in like a healthy way, you
yeah.
know. So
Keeping yourself busy. So, I guess we're gonna kind of hop into sort of a different area. But what were your beginnings as a musician, and what were some of your formative computer music moments?
um, okay. um, my my dad was like always um playing something like in our house. He was like he grew up like a pretty intense like music appreciator, was like
Hmm.
um heavy into like a lot of like post punk and like really into like the Clash and like stuff like that. And by the time that like music was like conscious in my mind, I guess in like the early 90s, like I remember like in uh geez, like I don't know, like 91 or something, and like whenever like Clarissa Explains It All was like
Oh,
on
wow.
on Nickelodeon, but like her boyfriend who always came through the window, the guitar solo would be like like when every time he like
Yeah.
came through the window. He would sometimes have like a Pearl Jam shirt on, or I think there was an episode where they like talked about getting Pearl Jam tickets or something, and my dad like heard me talking about Pearl Jam or something, and
When
then
he got
like
excited, he got excited, didn't
yeah,
he?
my dad was like, oh my god. And so he was like, oh, this is that band you've been talking about, and like played me like Pearl Jam. And then like I had kind of like a unique experience, I guess, like from that point on, because like a lot of kids like my age who started getting into um like alternative rock or like grunge, like that whole era. I'm 34, by the way, for context here. um like they kind of had to like seek that stuff out for themselves, but or unless they had like an older sibling who was like introducing them to that stuff. But my dad always had like, I never had to buy that stuff because like my dad had like all the Smashing Pumpkins CDs, like Pearl Jam. He gave me like the Downward Spiral by Nine Inch
Oh,
Nails
wow.
when I was in, oh god, I don't know, like fifth or sixth grade, and he was just like, "Don't tell your mother." I was like, "Okay." So he kind of just like passed a lot of that stuff on, and from just like listening to music, and I naturally like wanted to start experimenting and like playing stuff, and like I think I like tried guitar for like a second, and I was like,
Hmm.
it's like not really vibing for me. But then like, so I used to play hockey, and like on the like we would always listen to music like on the way back from like our hockey practices or whatever,
Yeah,
but we would
yeah.
listen to the radio, and All Mixed Up by 311 came on,
Oh
and I
heck
remember
yeah.
hearing the I remember hearing the snare sound and being like, I love that. And so from that point on, I was like really into like drums. So I just got like obsessed with drumming, and like this kid in my neighborhood, Chris Cottrell, his older brother Justin was like this freaky like hippie dude who like smelled like patchouli and had like dreadlocks and all this stuff. And I think my dad maybe like asked him if he'd be willing to like give me lessons, because he was like a really good like jazz drummer.
Mm.
And I remember like the first time he like came over, and like he just like full like dreads, like like Jinko jeans and like
That's
all
so
this stuff,
sick,
and like
dude.
came
That's
into our
so
house,
sick.
and I was just like, who is this person? But he like introduced me to like Santana and like, you know, kind of like that whole world of things, which like didn't really like take until like much later. I was just like, oh, I'm into like rock, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there, just like I joined band in school. I
Just
was
like
always,
concert band or something?
yeah, concert band, playing snare drum. And then my dad was like always putting on like records and being like, oh, you should learn this drum beat. And I would just be like, okay. I had this like, you know, like first like girlfriend or whatever in like 6th grade or something. And one time she called our house and I was trying to learn the drum beat from Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, oh, like Colin, like phone's for you. And so I went and got the phone and she was like, was that you playing drums? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, it sounded really bad.
Already just some early U2 hate. You really hate to see it.
Just, yeah, what, you know, whatever. But yeah, so I don't know, just kept the interest up. I started around like 7th grade or so. I started like jamming with other kids that were my age that were like playing guitar, like getting into bass and stuff like that, covering Adam's song by Blink-182. I remember specifically in like Red Hot Chili Peppers songs.
The classics.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I grew up in Charleston, West Virginia, and so like,
whoa.
Yeah, so there was like no built-in like music culture, you know, that was like easily accessible. And I didn't have like an older sibling or anything like showing me music. So when I started like exploring music on my own, it was just MTV and the radio, local radio, until like Napster rolled through. Which first song I downloaded on Napster was "Wait and Bleed" by Slipknot.
Oh, so sick!
And it was a perfect download though. There was no virus. There was not a faulty song. You got it on the first try.
Yeah, I got it first time. At least as far as I can remember. But first like you asked what like first electronic like,
yeah, I guess how'd you start
computer music, only because, or even like electronic, or just kind of moments that you'd spent online that you found formative, anything of that caliber to get a sense of the stuff that you've been doing now.
Let's see, I was like, when I was around probably like 16 or so, I was like, I kind of met some like freaky kids at my high school, and I was like, oh shit, like then they just put me on to like so much stuff. And there was this CD store. By this point my family had moved to Birmingham, Alabama. So this was in Birmingham.
Oh wow, you're all over the place.
I know, yeah, lived a bunch of places. But so there was a CD store called Slip Disc that this weird dude Carl ran, and like he really liked our like freaky little crew, so he'd be like, you know, if you guys go down the street and like get me a coffee, I'll like burn you a copy of this like whatever CD like hasn't come out yet, like I have this like promo thing. I'll burn you guys a copy. So it's just like, all right, sick.
Sick.
Yeah, he put us on to like, well, I can't speak for like Turner and Milton because they were way more advanced with music taste than me, but like he definitely put me on to like Fortet, like that record Rounds.
Yep, 2003 Rounds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And Boards of Canada.
Oh hell yeah.
Stuff like that.
I was just listening to Geo Gaddy today. I found that on CD for $5 last Monday.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that was the one. That was the first one that I heard. And yeah, so I just got really into like, yeah, stuff like Aphex Twin and Fortet, things like that. And but still at that point, like I was more focused in like, you know, playing like drum set in like bands. And it wasn't until around like college where I was like, I was playing in bands, but then I started going to school for music and studying music technology. Um, and just kind of like all of a sudden, like every band that I was playing with just like broke up, and I was kind of just like, man, it like really sucks to like kind of only be like a drummer and have to rely on like other people in order to like to make music. So I think I just got like a geez, what was it, like an Akai like MPD like 32 controller.
Yeah.
And like my friend hooked me up with like a cracked copy of Ableton 8, I think. And so yeah, I started like experimenting with like sampling, like of course, you know, starting with like sampling like 45s and like LPs that I would like find in like the 99-cent bin. And then I like, I think I got into the idea of using a SP404 from like listening to Panda Bear or something like that, like Person Pitch, I think.
Yep.
Because he had like 2 of them, I think, on that record or something. Or maybe it was the 555. I don't even know. But regardless, I got a sampler and just kind of started going from there. So that's like, that was like the first little bit of like, computer music, I guess, in my life.
So what did you originally start working with, and like what's your setup now? I guess you kind of already said what you started working with, but how did it like progress?
Well, okay, so like so started with like the 404, but then I think I saw a video of, do y'all know Gel, who was like part of like the Anticon crew, like Anticon Records and
I'm not
stuff?
sure I'm familiar.
Well, he's like a he's like an MP. He's basically like an MPC like drummer. He does everything. He does everything on an MPC like live, and just like taps it all out, and it's like incredible. I think I saw some like YouTube video of him and found out about like the MPC 2000 XL. So I found one of those, started like messing around with like the MPC, and at that point, like my setup, I had like the MPC, and then I had the 404, but then I had the MPC running through a Boss like DD6 delay pedal, so I could put like crazy like delay and like dub out the drums like live if I wanted to. So I was like trying to do the same thing of like doing like live drumming on the MPC and like triggering samples on the 404 at the same time for like textural layers or like melody or anything like that, which was fun. And I did that for a while, and it kind of, I don't know, it's like kind of limiting though, because it's like I just have two hands, you know. I was like trying to like make all this stuff happen, but it just like, you know, there was some blockage going on. And then from that point, I think my MPC like broke like right before I was supposed to play a few shows or something, and so I learned everything on drum kit, playing with one hand, and then triggering everything on the 404 with my left hand.
Oh wow.
Kind of like doing like live drum sample style at that point, and then I pretty much did that like all the way up until I moved to Chicago. But then for like whatever reason, I think it was just like, I don't know, getting really obsessed with like textural ambient music. I really moved away from percussion for like a really, really long time, like probably like 4 or 5 years. Like it always like stayed in my life, and like I always had like a drum set, but I wasn't exploring that in a way where I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a record with like drum kit on it. I was like more interested in like figuring out how to like layer sounds, get like really like messed up kind of like tapey, very like washy like synth tones, and just like learning how to process basically. And like, I think in that time, that's sort of like where I kind of like developed just like my ear for like texture and stuff like that, and like really putting a lot of like texture in the music that I was working on. And yeah, I don't know, just kind of like really shifted. My gear has like changed like so much. There was one point where I was like all like modular for like 2 years, which like
That's
modular
sick.
synths.
Yeah, that's sick.
Wow.
Yeah, but this like wasn't under like wasn't under the Brin name. I had a project called Ant'lrd for a while. And yeah, so it was like, it was all kind of like getting to this point where it was like turning into like the Brin project, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was doing like modular for a bit, and that, you know, it's just like, this is like the musical version of like Magic the Gathering in a way where it's like I'm just like destroying my bank account now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's like yeah. So I had to like, yeah, get away from that. So I sold all that stuff, and that was when I got into like sensory percussion. There, I think. And
yeah, I follow R Modular or whatever Modular. I think it's called R Modular on Reddit. The people there are always posting their racks and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, that's so much money. Yeah, but
yeah.
Anyways, they're always just talking about how much money they're dropping and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy.
It's like car show style. I remember at shows, I would close my case before anyone could come up to like take a look. I would just be like, nope, not talking to you. Goodbye.
That is so funny, dude. That is so funny.
It's like, I don't want to talk to you about gear. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That is hilarious, dude.
Yeah. And it's like, you'd be disappointed anyways. It's just a bunch of like shitty sampler modules.
Yeah.
You know, it's like not a bunch of like oscillators or sequencers or anything. So whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so did modular for a bit. I think aside from it being like really expensive, like around that time, myself and this guy, my friend Joe Bastardo, who makes music as Bastion Void, we did a tour in Japan together, and like I just didn't want to, like I couldn't take the modular because like it would have been like too obvious. I guess we were like trying to keep it like pretty under the radar because like customs and not having like any kind of, you know, work visa kind of situation. So I just took a 404 and like my iPad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was when I started getting like, I was like, oh, I really like having like a small setup. And so yeah, then I just tried to whittle things down, and then when I got back, that was when I got into sensory percussion, and yeah, just kind of went from there. And now I'm using like the Norns for like recording and stuff like that, but recently I've just been using Ableton and like this like Akai MPK Mini like MIDI controller.
Yeah, that's tight.
And just learning how to like get more familiar with like building instruments within Ableton, because I'm like starting to discover like a lot of things where I'm like, oh, this is basically like the same as like sensory percussion, but it's like way easier for me to like move around if I needed to or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. So that's where I'm at this point.
Looking up at the Discog stuff, that explains a bit. But with Brin, at least, because this is a more new moniker, and especially new project, at least going back to 2018.
Yeah, 2018. I think the first release came out September 2018 on Lillern tapes out of Chicago.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know you've mentioned like Chicago a couple times. I didn't know you're from Chicago. Do you want to talk about that, I guess?
Oh, well, I'm not actually from there.
Or you lived there for a little, right?
Yeah. I lived there for 4 years. That was like I just needed to get out of Birmingham. I like really wanted to get out of the South, and like originally like thought about coming out to coming out to LA. But it was just like at that point, it just seemed like so far from like everything that I knew, and I was young, and I was like, oh man, if I like fuck up, can I say that on this program?
You're chilling.
Okay. It's like if I like totally like fuck this up, then like that's gonna be terrible. So I was like, oh, I'll do like I'll like Chicago is just like a straight like 10-hour drive up I-65 from Birmingham. You like, except when you like go around Nashville, you just stay on I-65 for like 10 and a half hours. So I was like, this seems cool. I was like obsessed with a lot of like music from Chicago, like Smashing Pumpkins, Tortoise, like stuff like that.
Two different sides of the same coin.
You know, it's like that's what the city had, a very fertile creative ground, you know, that you know, many styles have blossomed forth from that great cold city.
So were you still doing I guess like was Ant'lrd a thing like when you moved there, or was that kind of a thing that came out of living in Chicago, or was that before that?
It was a thing like right before. Like I had like that project had just started kind of like gelling by the time I moved up there, and like it was kind of wild. I moved up there and like I started interning at this venue called Lincoln Hall, which is like kind of like a bigger venue there, and the like production manager person like used to work at the same, or like interned at the same venue that I worked at in Birmingham, because they were also from Birmingham, and they knew that I played music, and there were like all these shows where they like didn't have an opener, and they were like, do you want to open for Tycho? And I was like, I don't know who.
What?
I was like, I don't know who that is. Sure. I straight up like didn't know who he was, and I like got to the show, and like the sound person was like, yeah man, like sold out crowd tonight, how are you feeling? And I was like, what? Like really? Like fuck, I should have like maybe like practiced more or like something. So I got like some like weird fun like performance opportunities up there like pretty quickly, which was cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just, when I was living up there, just like played a lot of shows, and like I helped run a label with a few friends. And
what was that like label?
It was called Breathing and Receiving Oxygen, or just Borrow for short.
That's sick.
And
it's a beautiful name.
Yeah, it was really cool. My friend Ian like came up with that, but it was cool. Got to put out some music with some like musical heroes, and yeah. So, and that was like how I met Matthew David from Leaving as well. We first met back in like 2013 because we did like a label showcase, and my friend Ian, who was like the founder of the label, he's like a really incredible visual artist. So he like painted the green room of this venue called the Empty Bottle, and so he kind of had some sway with them, and he was like, hey, could we like put on a show? And they gave us a budget, which was cool. So we like
that's sick.
We like flew Matthew out, and it was, I don't know, it's like a really like cool, fun, like special, one time only kind of thing. But yeah, so Chicago is just like kind of formative, and also like the DIY like electronic scene there is like crazy and like really cool. I don't know if you guys are into like Hausu Mountain, if you know.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That might come up at a later point, let's say, but yeah. yeah. Cool label, and yeah, so that's what Chicago was like, and then very cold.
Yeah, that's sick. So at what point did you leave and end up going to Los Angeles?
Well, I lived in Portland first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, plot twist. It's like a slow like square like rectangle to get out here. So like, yeah, I moved to Portland because like my partner at the time, they were from the Midwest and just like wanted to experience something different. I was like not really feeling Chicago at the time, or like, you know, like 2014 kind of zone, just like looking for something else. So we moved out to Portland, and yeah, just like kind of got hooked up with some more freaky cool people out there. I think before, like, I set up like kind of like a little mini tour so we could go look for a place to live, and also I could like play shows.
That's sick.
So played in like Seattle and then Portland, and this person in Chicago like hooked me up with this person who at that point their name in my phone was just Sludge, and they helped run this space called Human Flesh Body World. So I was like, all right, like
that's
gonna
so
play
sick.
at this weird place.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, just like became super tight friends with the people that like ran that space. So when we finally like moved out to Portland a few months later, just, you know, started going to a lot of shows there. There's like another really, really incredible space in Portland called Church, but it's spelled with an X, so like X Church. And they used to have these events called Sanctuary Sunday, which was like a monthly like ambient and experimental showcase. And
that's
like
sick.
that was like maybe one of the first times where I'd like go to like an ambient show and there'd be like 100+ like people there. I'm just
that's
like,
crazy,
damn, like
dude.
it's like sick here, you know?
That's sick.
But yeah, so Portland was just like I don't know. I really love that place. The winter just really kind of like messes up my mental space. It's like 6 to 7 months with no sun, and like it's constantly raining. And I was a bike mechanic out there, like there for like a couple years, and like the shop that I worked at was like primarily outdoors, so it was like getting like rained on like all winter and stuff, and like it was just intense. So I don't know. I started kind of getting hooked up with like, I reconnected with Matthew and like started getting like more involved with like the leaving world and like doing some graphic design and helping out with them a little bit. And then I was just like, I need to be in the sun like all the time. So
I guess
yeah,
Los Angeles was the right place for that. But
yeah, totally. And yeah, just like every time I came through here on tour, I would just like meet more and more cool people and
just expanding your network.
Yeah, exactly. So it felt like I had a nice little like family group of friends down here as well. So that is how I ended up here.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
So judging by your working output, I mean, you've amassed like a massive network of pals, some local, some far, a bunch online currently. With Homescreen Glow specifically in mind, how did that project come to fruition? You start recording that album at Cal Arts, or?
So yeah, my roommate Brian, who plays in this really amazing ambient duo called Electric Sound Bath.
Okay.
Wow, that's sick.
That was what. Okay, because I don't have my copy of that on the side, but yes, very aware of his Oral Canyon release from a while back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So I live with Brian, and he's studying experimental sound practices at Cal Arts, and yeah, I get, you know, back in the old world when you could go to places, the campus was open, and they I think it's called like the Herb Alpert like music center or something there, but they have a bunch of recording studios and like a little like modular lab kind of thing. So
that's
like
sick. That's sick.
Yeah, a few weekends like he would book me, like he would sign like, you know, his name on the thing, but I would record for like 5 hours at a time, you know, just get like extraordinarily baked and just
so
like
tight,
sit in the studio and just like jam forever. So a lot of that stuff just came from like really, really long, like I think one take that I did, like that track Feather Drift on there with Matthew, that the initial like percussive kind of stuff. I think that original take was like 2 hours long
Oh wow,
or
that's
something.
crazy.
And so I just jammed on that forever. And then over time, just kind of like whittled it down by editing and stuff. And yeah, so and then like Dustin Wong like came out there to CalArts like with us. Yo, there we go.
Shout out Dustin.
Shout out Dustin. Oh yeah. And so he came out there and we recorded like, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 different tracks, but then we, sat down, listened to them, like chose the best chunks that we liked and just kind of like edited that stuff like together. So that was really when it started to kind of get like other people involved with it, because I was like, oh, that was like super fun, like working with Dustin. So like then Matthew and I played a collaborative set at one of the Leaving Park shows where we like did like a live version of Feather Drift, and then that was recorded, and so then I took that like live take and ended up like weaving that into like the mix of the song, or like the final mix. And then yeah, my friend Aaron Reyes, we had like, I was still pretty new to town at that point, and I just like I saw him at shows or whatever, and I think we just somehow started talking, and we finally like hung out in real life, and it was amazing. He has this like cool little house on a hill, and like gets a lot of good like natural light. So we basically did like I brought my gear over, and then I ran like all of my sensory percussion stuff like through his like modular rig and stuff, and then that was how we created Another Portal. And then and that's just kind of like, and then it kind of just I took some space from recording it for a while, just to kind of like let it the pieces that I had just kind of like sit, and then I spent more time kind of like writing. I was playing shows a lot then too, so I was like trying to figure out like what ideas really like translated well, and just like trying them out in like a live format, before I would like commit to recording it. Because like, I don't know, I always kind of feel like sometimes like trying stuff in front of an audience is like a really good way to see like what hits, like what people like gravitate towards, and what what doesn't. Tossing the spaghetti noodles against the wall, seeing what stays. But so it was just kind of like that like various processes like that, and then I ended up finishing it when like quarantine started, and like there's like a couple tracks where it's like processed versions of things that I was doing on like my Twitch stream or whatever, and I just grabbed like the best bits of it and kind of just like collaged that together.
That's sick.
And that was just kind of like the cherry on top. And and then it just kind of like sat around for a bit, and then became a release.
In between it sitting around, though, there were 2 EPs. That was the one that I had found was a Microdose Skyline, and then you had Mid-Air that followed right after, and both of them felt kind of like siblings based on just the art style. The tabs are also still in on these tapes. I don't know if it was intended that you just dub Mid-Air over on side B, because they're both the same, but
I don't know. There's this like, those tapes were dubbed through this like weird dude in Altadena that has like this mansion, and it's like you have to go to his mansion to pick up the tapes, and
that is wild.
It's really strange. There's like jet skis and like a motorhome like in his like yard. It's just like a weird operation. Like he definitely like does something other than dubbing cassettes.
It's a lucrative business.
It's pretty lucrative. So that's who dubbed those. But Microdose Skyline was actually, that was started when I was I think initially towards the tail end of me living in Portland. And I went on I did a tour opening for that band, This Will Destroy You. And just, we had really long drives. They're like it was like 8 hours for like each drive pretty much. And that was like right when I got the Akai MPK, that little tiny MIDI controller. And so I brought that with me, and I would just chill with that and my computer, like in my seat in the van. And a lot of the like kind of backbone from, or like the foundation of that came from like those little experiments. And then it's like funny too, because like I also had an Octatrack at one point in the making of that, but I didn't like it and I sold it, but I kept like one like drum take. And then
what's an
ended up
Octatrack?
What are even my tracks called on that? Sorry. I think Majestic Cranes Fly Higher. There's like this very steady, kind of like woozy, almost like vapor thing that happens like at the last like minute and a half of that track.
Yeah.
And that's where that lives. So,
oh, that's sick.
Yeah, totally. And then Midair, that was made in just like a week or something. Whoa. Yeah, I was like walking around like Echo Park Lake, and I was like looking at these turtles like swimming through like the lily pads and stuff, and I was like, damn, I just want to make like kind of like a soundtrack for like turtles swimming through lily pads.
That's sick.
Yeah, so that, and then there was also another release too, High Speed Light Body, that came out on Finery Tapes, which is based out of Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one's like pretty wild. Like I would say that one's maybe like my most like aggressive kind of release. It's just like it's like, well, there's 4 tracks on it. 2 of them are like long form, and I don't normally do like super long form stuff, but I was really just trying. I had just gotten like the organelle, the Critter and Guitari organelle, and I found out about this patch on there, that each key had. Do you know what the organelle like looks like?
I don't know.
If you'd like to show us, we'd be thrilled.
Yes. Okay. This guy here.
Okay. Yeah, my friend has one of those, I think.
Yeah. So it's cool. And there was like one patch where like each of these keys is basically like a file that holds 4 samples.
Oh, wow.
When you hold it, and it's also like an arpeggiator, but it's like a sample arpeggiator. So every time you hit this and like hold it down, it's going to give you a different combination of those 4 samples. So I made like 2 patches that were 96 samples.
That's insane.
And yeah, which is like totally psychotic. It's like that's like very much like quarantine, like just like fuck it, like I don't know, like why not? And yeah, so that was that pretty much. That tape comes from 2 like live performances, one for a show on Dub Lab, and then one for this place called An Open Space that's run by some people in Chicago. And just compiled those together and made another tape with that. So
that's honestly sick. And where'd you say that label was out of that you made the tape for?
Denmark.
Okay, Denmark. That's tight. How'd you make that connection?
Do you know Glia? John, Glia is his like musical name, moniker, I guess. He's out of Virginia. I'm not sure if it's
ringing a bell now.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to look that up.
I think y'all would really like it, based on what I know about your tastes so far. But I've been a fan of his music for a while, and then we kind of like became friendly on the internet, and I saw that. Or maybe we were talking or something, and he was saying that he was about to do another tape with Finery, and that label's been around for like a while.
It's called Finery?
Yeah, Phinery.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh man, like I've always wanted to do like a finery release. And so he was like,
Yeah.
oh, you should send him, because I had sent him the, you know, high speed light body before it was like finalized. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh, you should send this over to finery. Literally, like the first time and maybe the last time, because of the time difference, I emailed it to him at like 3 in the morning, and then I woke up at like 10 the next day, and I had an email back, and he was like, let's do it. And I was like, whoa, shit.
That's
Okay.
honestly so sick.
People mostly just ignore me. So
Yeah.
sure, I'll take it. So, and that was just like that was a great experience. He was like really communicative and really like on top of it. It was like super smooth. So yeah.
That's awesome. We love to hear that.
Yeah.
A lot of it also struck me because those EPs, they do shift a lot. There are, and at least now getting to see that darn just 96 patcher that you just showed,
Oh yeah.
that makes a lot of sense of why so many ideas come through so succinctly. Like there's a bit of echo jamming on it.
Yeah, there's
times.
like yeah, and those like first like few tracks of echo jams that are just all like like super chopped.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple other of the things that I guess, like one of the Bandcamp reviews of Homescreen Glow, the one that's on your page on Bandcamp, there says it starts with the phrase glossolalia, and is such a strange phrase to see, as much as it's kind of in that hypnagogic pop or glo-fi, whatever you want to call it. But do you envision this music being played at spaces like Glossier in Los Angeles, or
what does that word mean? I actually I think I meant to look it up at one point, but then I got distracted.
What does that
mean?
So yeah, glossolalia, I think that's the term. I don't think there's a proper meaning for it. It's just
speaking in tongues, right?
Realm. Wait, what was that?
Isn't it speaking in tongues?
Whoa.
Is it?
Cool.
Yeah, I just looked it up right now. It says the phenomenon of apparently speaking in an unknown language, especially in religious worship. It is practiced especially by Pentecostal and charismatic Christians.
Wow.
I do not practice any Christianity, but sonically, I will.
Sonically,
sure.
Subscribing to it.
Yeah. Sonically, I'm speaking tongues.
So,
speaking in tongues.
Anyways, Maddie, did you want to ask anything?
I'll keep going, but so in regards though, with this sound that you have with Brin, it could though shift pretty easily between ambient and actually kind of a bit of a party sound, almost an ambient like party for your mind. Are there certain, when you're performing your concerts, are there certain kind of ideas or concepts that you want to explore with that?
With like each performance, I guess like I'm mainly focusing, because like, you know, nothing is like on a backing track or like anything, like everything is like triggered live and stuff, and so I'm really just like focusing on how like samples kind of like interact with each other, and that kind of like enmeshment, I guess. But I guess like just like the primary thing is like I'm really just trying to like deconstruct like time in this way, at least with like percussion based like samples and stuff like that, because it's just like it's interesting to me that when people hear percussion, like a grid and time is just like, I don't know, like people need that as like an anchor or something. But or it's like implied, I guess, is like the better way to put that. Versus like, you know, you take like a bell sample and you like toss it through some like self-generating kind of thing, and it sounds all like random and like kind of like fractured and stuff like that. It's just kind of like the same principle of like just taking like recontextualizing those like percussive sounds so they're not so married to like time as we know it in like Western music. And I don't know, it's weird. I guess I've just been like also thinking about it sort of like politically too, just like what the clock means and like productivity and just like capitalism and stuff like that. And yeah, like, and how Western music is like colonized, and how I just don't fucking care
Yeah,
anymore
yeah, yeah.
about like just like adhering to like any of those rules. And
That's so sick.
yeah, so I don't know. That's just kind of like that's really, yeah, where I guess the core of the project lies, I guess. At least at this point, you know. But like no rules, whatever. Like burn it all down too. I that was like kind of why I shifted into the Brin project from Ant'lrd, because it had like kind of like developed its own system of rules, and it didn't feel right to like get outside of it. And I was kind of just like, I have to completely just, I need to like reset, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
So
even still though, with I mean, even with it kind of not having a rule set, you still though have collaborations, and there is stuff on the horizon. As far as I know, you are working at some point with Marie on.
How'd you know that? How'd you know that? How'd you know?
Maurice is or Mari's performing on the show next week, and yeah, she
spilled the beans.
We don't have to.
But no one's watching right now.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be cool because it's not only is it myself and Mari, but it's also Jimmy Tamborello, Dentel.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah. So it's
Mr. Life is full of possibilities.
Yeah, like the godfather of like remote music making.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tight. The stuff that we have so far, I'm like really, really into, and it's all happened like really naturally. And everyone's like really agreeable and like laid back, and yeah, it's been really fun. We have like 3 or 4 tracks I think at this point, and I know Mari has been working on another collaboration, and then I just wrapped up a collaborative record as well, and so but now I think we're starting to throw new ideas like into the folders and stuff like that as well. So
that's so sick.
But yeah, that'll be out on Cached Media.
Oh wow, seriously, dude, I love Cached. Matt Sage is gonna be playing on the show too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, in what's it called? Sick. February? Yeah, February.
and what's it called?
I was like, when is that again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's putting it out. He like approached me about just like setting up, or you know, because they have their like remote collaborative like series. So he emailed me and was like, you know, we should put together like a weird little squad. So I immediately thought of Mari first, because just been vibing with her music like a lot, and I kind of had a feeling that we were like kind of had like the same DNA in that way, you know. And we had been talking on like Instagram and stuff anyways, and yeah, so just asked if they were down, and then they thought of Jimmy, and yeah, we're buds, so I just hit him up, and he was immediately just like totally.
So, wow, that's so sick. Like I immediately just got like way more stoked for that record. That's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Some of it's just like, one of the tracks that we made is like definitely one of the most like beautiful pieces of music I've been involved with personally.
Really?
The first like when it first like came together, I was just like,
that's
holy
so cool.
Shit.
Yeah.
And it's cool to feel that way, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you had also mentioned that you had a record in the oven with Josiah Steinbrick. So what's up with
yes,
that?
I forgot that I told you that. Yeah. Yes. We just wrapped that.
That's the one you just wrapped up, you said?
Yeah, we just wrapped that on what day is it? Saturday. On Saturday. So, and he's actually coming over in like, I don't know when. In a little bit, we're gonna do like the LP layout stuff for that. So.
Oh hell yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
When's that
Yeah.
one? When's that one looking like it's gonna come out?
I think May for that. That's what we're shooting for.
Okay.
We just sent everything off to be mastered. So,
Do you have a label for that one, or is it gonna be like self-released?
We're doing we're doing it full like self-release.
Oh hell yeah, that's tight.
Neither of us are like really interested in like compromising anything or like waiting on anyone else. So we're just like, fuck it, this is just us, you know. So,
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then kind of have like some more collab stuff set up. Getty's Jingras and I have been working on stuff. You got a Ged tape right there too.
I have all of these tapes over here on the side. This is my tour though, but he did the mastering on your stuff.
Yeah. Ged's awesome. We game a lot, which is
that's so sick. That's so sick.
Fun. And yeah, so we've been passing stuff like back and forth for almost a year now. And when we only have one completed track, but we have like a mountain of stuff to like sift through. We both kind of just had like, you know, the worlds drift and then come back together when they're supposed to. So yeah, we're just constantly kind of like sending ideas back and forth and like just talking about how we want to take it further. And then have like sent a few starter things to Claire Rousset as well.
Oh wow, that's sick.
Yeah, for some stuff. So
one of the biggest people in music right now, I feel like.
I know.
Local legend.
Legend.
Yeah, for real.
She just had a new track though today, and yeah, I already bought that.
Oh yeah,
great.
Yeah, me too. I listened to it last night. Yeah, very good. I don't know what that will sound like, but slowly but surely, all in perfect time. That's that one we've decided is like we're really gonna kind of take our time on because she's super busy and like I'm like up to my eyeballs and stuff as well too. So like, you know, not complaining. It's just like I wish there were just more hours in the day. I just like,
oh, don't we all?
So many things I want to
I hear that.
Finish. Totally.
That's amazing, dude. You got some sick stuff in the works, dude, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited. I think 2021, 2022 will be really fun. And then I'm like halfway done with another solo record as well.
So sick, dude. 2021, 2022 looking a little brighter than 2020.
Yeah, we'll just see what
happens. We'll see what happens. It could totally take a quick turn. I remember up from January to March it was looking pretty good, and then took a quick turn, you know.
Yeah, 2021 came in hot.
Oh, and for sure.
And the inauguration is
God.
Wednesday.
You guys see the pictures like of the Capitol right now, just like the massive iron fences and like the military everywhere?
Yeah, crazy. Just sleeping in like the hallways.
So insane.
So weird. But I guess like the National Guard is like sleeping like all like throughout the Capitol building and stuff.
Are they really? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Gotta protect
it looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, so we're getting close to wrapping up the show here.
Oh, cool! That went by so fast.
I know, right? That did. That was
a fun one.
Yeah, that was. Wait,
let me text. Okay, cool. And I'm back.
Yeah, so we're getting close to wrapping up the show here. Give me your top 5 Leaving Records artists right now, or just artists in general. Top 5 people in general.
Oh, just like in general, like in life and
life
music?
Or in music, whatever. Let's just go for it.
Don't you keep like a Napa Valley next to you of all your favorites?
Oh my God, it's funny. I have a bunch of cassettes, but I have pretty much like exclusively been listening to like on the Bandcamp app.
I honestly have been too actually recently.
Cool. It's cool. There's a few like minor adjustments I think that could be made, but
It's
I,
the
I
buying.
think I think
It's
so
the buying
too.
aspect that's not good.
yeah. But it's yeah, exactly. It's like I wish that I could like buy like physical stuff on the app instead of like you having to like send me purchase info. Also,
Mm.
when someone sends you a link to something through text, you don't have the option to open it up in the app. You can only open it up in like
Yes, dude,
a
that's
browser,
so
and I'm just
annoying.
like,
Yeah,
man,
it's
I
so
gotta like
annoying.
search it. It's like, which is fine. But
I would also
okay, so
on the
um,
Bandcamp thing real fast, dude. I really wish that they would incorporate a playlist option because I feel like it'd be so much
oh,
easier for radio if there was like a playlist thing that you can
that would be
incorporate somehow into
Oh boy.
you know.
that would be very, very cool.
Anyways,
Okay, so top five people just in like life and music right now. I gotta say number one with a bullet, Josiah Steinbrück. Um,
shouts out.
just such a sweet human, and has like really just, I don't know, kind of just like he's like an older brother kind of like figure for me. And we've just gone deep, and it's been really, really awesome to get to know him like better through this process, because we've been collabing like in real life since October, not just like remotely. We've been like doing like the mask and like
Yeah,
getting tested kind of thing, and
yeah, that's so sick.
yeah, so we've gotten to like spend some time. um Related to that, we've been doing a lot of like night walks, which leads me to my number two person, which is Meg, who makes music as Hand Habits.
Oh, sick,
Oh,
dude. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
oh,
like
we love hand habits.
yeah, like we've been going on like walks together and stuff, like every now and then in the evenings, and it's just been like, I don't know, we get deep too. We're like, yeah, it's all about the deepness.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would say then this is all in no particular order too. There's no ranking here. So I retract from my number one with a bullet.
It's
So
alphabetized.
in spirit, Josiah. And then Ange and Brian from Electric Sound Bath.
Shouts out.
I mean, yeah, Brian and I are like super tight, and Ange and I are also just like super tight, and yeah, we're good buds. And then let's see, Chuck, of course, always.
Shouts out Chuck, dude.
Yes.
Chuck's the dude.
I feel like
Shouts out
literally
to
the most underrated electronic artist I feel like making music right now. Chuck's
Yeah,
music is
and
literally so good.
yeah, and like the sort of newer ambient stuff.
Yes, dude,
I feel,
it's especially
feel like
so good.
It moves.
yeah, feels like I feel
Yeah.
like
It moves.
he's like cultivating like phase 2 of Keone or something.
Yeah,
there was
for
like
sure.
there was like the dance version, because he sent me like a new record today, that he's been working on, and I was like, dude, you like, this is it. This is like the Keone sound now.
That is so sick. I'm so
Um,
hyped.
Yeah, totally. And then I'm gonna shout out another favorite human, Carice, my homie Carice TBD, who lives in Portland and is a very gifted MC, and just all around wonderful, hilarious, doesn't take any bullshit kind of person. So
Shout out Tigbitty.
shouts. So yeah, those are the homies.
That's what's up, dude. I love that.
Yeah.
So I think that just about does it. Do you have any last remarks you want to put in the airwaves and archives? Like, where can people keep up with your projects?
Definitely on Bandcamp. Sorry, like totally. Yo, the tincture kicked in. Definitely on the Bandcamp, brinsound.bandcamp.com.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. My stuff is just like all on the DSPs, as they say. And yeah, I don't know. Instagram, I update music happenings there as well. Brin 182 underscore. And
We tweeted. We had that snafu back in
wait, what's that?
December. The tweet snafu about the Brin when I had I did the review for Tabs Out.
Cool. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, was that the with the microdose
yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was super cool. My friend John like sent that to me, and I like looked at the phone and I was like so confused for a second. I was like, wait, this came out a long time ago.
Yes, I got it very late. I got it late, and then I do the review, and Mike uploads them months later.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Better late than never. Actually, like, because at the same before John sent me the link to it, I was like, whoa, I got like 3 orders like randomly.
Oh, really?
So,
That's sick,
yeah,
actually.
So like, yeah, I started getting like orders from it, which is cool. So thank you,
dude. Hell yeah, Maddie. Making Colin some money, dude. That's sick.
Yeah, that cheddar, dude.
That cheddar.
But I guess like last thing I just want to say is, like thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Thanks.
Super fun.
Thanks for being down. That was sick, dude.
Yeah, totally. And then also too, just like thanks to like anyone down with the music, like just at all. I'm just like super appreciative of like any kind of love. Like if you get it, I'm so hyped. And like fuck haters, you know?
Yeah, fuck
but
them,
also love haters, fuck haters, you know? And that's it.
So before you go, we actually have one more question. You want to hit him with it, Maddie?
Oh, this is a classic one. This is our favorite.
I think I know this question.
Everybody knows that it's getting good. So, a rat is going to jump in your mouth, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Head or butt, and why?
Well, I'm thinking maybe butt first, because potentially we could form a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
That's so good.
And it can just like, it can just live in my mouth, and then when I get really pissed off at people, and I, you know, if like out in the street, if I like screamed at someone, the rat would also, you know, it's like the xenomorph, like extra mouth, except it's a fucking rat, so it's like gnarly.
That is literally so sick.
Yeah, I keep it well fed too, you know.
Is it like a tape rat? It's like a tapeworm, but a rat.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and we need each other, and it's. And I'll take it because, like, you know, times is lonely.
That was literally probably the best. That takes the cake now. That was honestly the best one. Yeah.
Great.
That's it.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Have you been thinking about that? I feel like that was pretty good for all this fun.
No, well, actually, I've just been kind of like, just talking about like, I don't know, animals a lot recently, especially with a new friend too, just like tiny animals and just like, having like little buddies. So I guess just like, the first thing that pops into my head is like, let's just make this dude our friend.
Yeah, I love that. That's so sick.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's all we have for today. So thanks to everybody for tuning into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday 4 to 6 p.m. and NetNet Radio every Saturday 8 to 10 p.m. This is Brin. Thanks for being on the show, Colin, and thanks for joining me, Maddie.
Thanks.
So good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you all. Yeah. Talk to you soon.